Evening, everybody.
Hello.
It's Wednesday night. It's 9 p.m. and it's time for What's on Joe Mind. How's everybody doing?
Okay. Nowhere near as close to odds as other people are making us in the comments.
Right. Things were a little weird maybe an hour ago.
Yeah.
But we came through it okay. And if you're in the eastern half of Indiana, I suggest maybe watching us on the phone and heading towards shelter. But we're okay here where we're at this point. We'd like to thank everybody for staying through the Superstation's 24-hour marathon of Twister. Isn't that ironic? But,
Don't you think?
I mean, yeah, crazy, but weird that it worked out that way. But yeah, so welcome to Wednesday nights, everybody. This week was really just a good time to make the switch, simply because, as I said last week, my Mondays and Tuesdays have become untenable with my work schedule. So we needed to move to a little bit later in the week, and this was the best day. And, so there's that. But do not expect a Tuesday show unless it's something weird at this point. Start setting your clocks for Wednesday.
And just a reminder, Wednesday is New Comic Day.
Wednesday is New Comic Day. So Racktime Rob is even more thrilled. He's here in the top row. He is fresh from a trip to Comic Carnival in Indianapolis, Indiana, where they sent all of his books to Florida.
Just some of them. The ones I was looking forward to the most, probably.
It stinks.
All the Mark Wayne written ones with Batman.
Yes. So which ones specifically were you lamenting this afternoon?
Batman and Robin Year One, World's Finest, and the new Challengers of the Unknown. However, G.I. Joe 5, excellent.
In our hot little hands.
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to read it because I was making PowerPoint slides.
Yeah.
For you people.
People. It's a doozy.
I hope so. So no spoilers, or so help me. I'll turn this show right around.
And
Animals already?
Living room?
In the bottom row, he's back with us after a 3-week absence.
It's a long time.
It 4? It may have been 4. We just didn't do a show one of those weeks. But he's here from Articulated Points. It's Phil Donnelly.
Hello.
How has that not been your nickname to this point? How have you not been Phil?
We didn't think of it until now.
Jesus.
We're dropping the ball. It's nearly setting in.
That sounds about right.
Lost opportunities, but there's still time to do stuff.
2-time first-team All-Pro quarterback Steve Young says he brought his first book in years, Silverhawks by Dynamite. Very nice. Okay. Silverhawks were never really my jam, but Dynamite does some good work. Been picking up their Space Ghost title. I've enjoyed that.
I bought that first issue.
Yeah, was it good?
Yeah, not bad. I was interested enough in the second, but I think the distribution problems with Diamond have played some hob with it, so I don't know if I've missed it or if it hasn't hit yet.
Yeah. Hey, look who's back! It's They-Gone.
Hey!
We say it. We give his saying at the end every episode, and finally he appears. And he's here with wise words at the beginning of the show as well. If you've not remembered to like and comment and take a listen on the replay, and promote the damn show. I don't know what he's saying there, but I just like that he's real positive and going for us. So thank you. I appreciate your showing up, man. We've missed you. But so Phil, what have you done with yourself in these 3-4 weeks since we've had you on the program?
I went to TFCon.
How was it?
It was like a BotCon, which was weird because like literally the size of a BotCon with the crowds of a BotCon, which has always been bigger than a JoeCon. It was just a surprising amount of people showing up for this small convention, but man, do they want to be there. And it was nice to see a nice little, small convention wise, like compared it to a comic book convention, but still large for a niche topic like that,
Good. And did you manage to score any cool celebrity autographs?
I did actually, a few.
We'll see those in what we got in.
We will. We'll the teaser.
Exactly want to wet everybody's whistle on that one. Give them just a little taste.
Yeah.
But
stick around.
Anyways, if you're catching us on the YouTube tonight, make sure you do all those cool YouTube things and you hit those buttons that are somewhere in the bottom area down below Phil. Point at the buttons, Phil. Right. So make sure you're clicking the like button and you're clicking the subscribe button. About 30% of you every week are not subscribed to the show, which is just mind-boggling. Because frankly, if the Google folks see you watching us once, they're gonna recommend us to you for the rest of time. So you might as well just click the button. We don't charge you nothing for it. Neither do they. It's one of the few things you can do for free in today's world. So do that. It helps us out a ton. Similarly, if you are on the Facebook this evening, and there's fewer and fewer of you as time goes on, because Facebook's getting weird about simulcasting. We tend to get more replay folks on Facebook than live folks on Facebook. But if you happen to be watching us live on Facebook, be sure to do something to spark that algorithm. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a heart. Give us a little huggy guy. We do love little huggy guy. And do all those cool things to make the algorithm go around. Remember, if you've got thoughts on anything we talk about tonight, whether it's live or recording or what have you, just leave a comment down below. We do our best to respond to those if you're getting them to us in the first week or so after the show's been recorded. After that, I can't promise you that I'm going to remember what we're talking about. So, no, all bets are off at that point. But the gunny's in. Wednesday did not scare off the gunny. So welcome, Dennis Fleming. We appreciate you. Michael Gene Fleming laments that I watched a video today that was on the edge of my interests, and now I know that I'm going to get months of recommendations from a channel I can tell I will not be interested in generally. Yeah,
welcome to YouTube.
Yeah,
the algorithm.
It's YouTube.
You could always click on the remove from watch history. That does help a little.
It does. If you go and just click it out of there, or you can just flood it the other way and watch hundreds of hours of what's on Joe Mind, because that's seriously what we've left up there. There's a couple episodes with Mark where it's just 100 hours on its own.
95 of it is wrestling.
Right, and baseball.
Wrestling tangents and baseball.
It's an hour and a half before we get to the news, So what can we tell you? That's how we used to roll in these parts. But anyways, got to chat a little bit with the honcho this week, so he's doing well, and wishes you all well at the same time. So, what did we talk about? Wrestling, of course.
Wrestling.
Oh, anyways. So we got a lot of news this week. What do you say we get to the news?
Woohoo!
Alrighty then.
Throw "alrighty then" as your catchphrase, Phil.
It was that, or do I really have a say in the matter?
I mean, no, it's pretty much what we're here to do, isn't it? But you notice I changed your title on the screen there.
Yes, a Frag Viper with a PH. Yes,
because that's what you were in the thumbnail.
I guess I did see that, which I thought was fun because that's one of those toys that I didn't have as a kid, but my brother did. That just kind of showed up one day, and I don't know where it came from, but I remember it because of that. It's like I didn't recall you getting this for Christmas or a toy store. Did you trade a neighborhood kid for it? It's just there.
Found in the street.
Yeah.
Man, that was one thing we were not permitted to do with the neighborhood kids, wasn't it? It used to irritate the parents greatly when we would swap. Like I never tried it with toys because it was always a disaster with baseball cards. I mean, holy cow! What if you can't trade your doubles?
They're called trading cards.
Right. Oh, don't get me started. Our parents are wonderful. Our dad is still out there, and he was not the one that freaked out at stuff like that. But sometimes there are just some things about being a kid that I don't think our mom understood. And trading baseball cards was one of them.
I just didn't have people to trade my non-sports cards with.
Well, Phil, you were a little young for the Playmate of the Month trading cards. It may have been that.
They were Fleer Ultra X-Men.
Mm-hmm. Fleer Ultra XXX Men, you mean?
Ooh.
Anyways,
Men.
first news item.
Do-do-do-do-do.
You're not going to get challenged like Gerwig did last week. Phil's not going to try and jump in there.
I know my place.
All right. It's about Rob might turn up at your place ready to fight.
I'd probably just get stuck on the 405.
No.
Because it's jammed.
Or the 5.
Yeah.
Which is
The
similar
5
to
is
the jam.
always. That was the picture I showed you. But I was on my way to TFCon. The 5 was jammed.
That's true. Phil did send me a picture of stopped traffic on the 5.
Yes. I believe you showed it to me. Yeah.
I did. I neglected to put it on our social media. Maybe next time. Maybe I'll superimpose your face on a car in that one. It's the Philmobile. It's stuck on the 5. Anyways, first news item. You're running out of weekends if you've not been to Roma Collectibles, the toy store. They are closing the physical location. They are there the next 3 weekends. Last day will be Sunday, April 6th. So if you've not made the trek to Upper Valley Pike in Springfield, Ohio, you're running out of time. Go buy some stuff from Roma Collectibles, the toy store. Again, 3 more weekends, finishing up Sunday, April 6th. Next news item.
Do-do-do-do.
What?
I'm experimenting.
You're giving me Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? What the hell is that?
I think that was a danger sting.
Yeah.
All right. And this has launched on Kickstarter.
Oh,
I did not change the graphic because, show prep. But anyways, the Toy Collector's Wishbook Special Edition G.I. Joe is off and running. It is...
you have open now on there.
Yeah, I do, but I didn't change the graphic. I just threw stuff on top of it.
Oh, okay.
And even then, it did that weird thing where somewhere in the conversion, it made it all weird and not fitting. Like it looks a lot better in the original, and now for some reason it doesn't look like that anymore. But anyways,
Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft on a Mac, no less. So it's yeah, they're just trying to get me to buy something else. Anyways,
Strangers in a foreign land.
There's a $40,000 goal on this one. They are up to almost 36,000 already, and it's only been active for a couple of days. So we are not at the point where we can officially say bet or pledge with confidence, but you can pretty much pledge with confidence that this is going to happen. Head over to Kickstarter. Just type in that title right there, the Toy Collector's Wishbook. It'll pop up for you. Again, they're using images from 3djoes.com, so you know it's quality work there. And they did some great work on their previous volumes that were spread across many of the smaller toy lines rather of the 70s, 80s, 90s, etc. So the fact that they're giving a big volume like this just to G.I. Joe, Real American Hero from the 80s and 90s tells you exactly what kind of goodness we're in store for. Rob, you pledged this, right?
I was looking for it the other day and couldn't find it. So I'll go in there and take a look at it now.
You just type the title of the book; it'll come up for you.
I obviously wasn't typing in the right title, so those.
Phil, you want a full-time job? I may have a chair opening up.
I already have a full-time job.
Whatever. You guys do like one show every month and a half. Come on.
We gotta source stuff.
You look, man, you can do research or you can help build PowerPoints.
That's very tempting.
Look at the action of PowerPoints. I was lamenting to Racktime Rob today that I got done with work. I don't work a 12-hour day on Wednesdays like I do on Mondays and Tuesdays. And I was lamenting to Racktime Rob that I put together the slides for today's show after work and was done with it much sooner than I had anticipated. And I'm kind of sad that the one skill that I've picked up from doing this show for 14 years is that I can build slideshows quickly. Andrew Galgan says, but now this Kickstarter is getting the What's on Joe Mind bump. It's actually the What's on Joe Mind push. That's what we do here. We push it. Anyways, let's not get demonetized. See, Phil, you could have been trading with Diana Davis. She had Chippendales playing cards. Her favorite was the guy in the apron slicing sausage.
Yeah, there's no Freudian imagery there.
Is he a Moyle?
Jeff Butler with perhaps the line of the night, going back to the trading card bit. When you trade neighborhood kids, you get less for them than you used to. Now they're free at Toyman.
There you go.
Yeah, I tell you. Just show up, and those kids 12 and under, they're free.
Lousy with them.
It's like Beanie Babies, man. You just can't get rid of them.
Oh. Firefly, how appropriate a 2-bit slideshow for a 2-bit slime show. Look, man, I've worked in corporate America long enough to know that my slideshows are probably the highest production value of the entire program.
They're 3 bits.
That's at least a 4-bit. That's 2 quarters. That's 50 cents.
Yeah, but with inflation.
That just makes them 6 bits.
But they're only worth 2 bits.
That's what we call a profit margin, Phil.
No.
Next news item. I'm gonna have to go in and get one of like an old sound, the sound from Joe doing it, and just run that and make a button out of it.
Soundboard.
I'm just Anyways, available in quotes now. This was available as of last week on the 13th of March, Thursday the 13th. Woo! Crystal Ball is a Walmart.com exclusive. He was available during Walmart CollectorCon here in the spring. He sold for $25, and I'm using past tense because good luck finding this guy. He sold out. It's a Walmart thing, so God only knows.
We'll see if I get one.
Did you order one, Phil?
I did through Walmart. That's on me.
Right.
I don't learn.
I mean, you didn't have a choice, Phil. You had no choice. You had no choice.
More of a choice than I had, and I was only,
Yeah, Racktime Rob showed up at
there
like quarter after.
Yeah.
I
tried getting in there at quarter to 11 because I was working, and they were gone by then.
Yeah, I was up super late Wednesday night last week, and I wound up sleeping in on Thursday purely by chance. Woke up at 10 o'clock when it all opened up. Put my order in on Walmart.com and fell back asleep immediately. Like my phone was still on Walmart with the confirmation screen on it when I woke up an hour later. And
at least you got to that part.
Right. So I sleep pre-ordered Crystal Ball.
Or did he hypnotize you into doing it?
He may have, but honestly, this guy, he's a Mondo improvement, right? Like a character that I would not have batted an eye at missing if you had just read a list of classified figures to me. But I gotta look at this guy, and I was like, you know what? This is pretty freaking cool, and this guy has a place. This is a great update to Crystal Ball. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, it's a great one, and boy, I'm really hoping that this does the other Walmart exclusive thing and shows back up on the Pulse.
Right. It popped up one more time on Walmart, but it cleared out again really quick. But before I could even tell you, it was gone again.
Yeah.
So with any luck, some of these sold out exclusives will show up somewhere down the line, or I believe it's supposed to be an online exclusive. It'll start inexplicably showing up in stores next year sometime when nobody's looking for it.
Yeah.
To be fair, the Falcon and Quarrel 2-pack was an online exclusive for Walmart, and they're discounting those now, even though they sold out in an instant when it first went up.
Right.
You may still have hope.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, a lot of the other figures, like the Night Force stuff, did pop back up on on Hasbro Pulse, and I mean, you could still get them there. I just saw today some of the Night Force stuff actually showing up in Entertainment Earth, like Big Ben. So
it's Walmart, remember, and their distribution is
garbage.
Yeah, crazy crap. Things go to Walmart distribution centers and they die, and then they find it 6 months later, and they just sell it off to the lowest bidder for whatever they can get. So yeah, don't give up hope. You may wind up waiting longer than you'd like to. But this is Phil. What do you think of Crystal Ball here?
I like him. Of course, I actually don't hate the original Crystal Ball either. So I was always kind of a little bit interested in this one, and just kind of leaning into the whole eldritch horror aspect of it. It's kind of cool. And I don't know if I should admit this, but it really just occurred to me now that he's just the counterpart for Psych Out on G.I. Joe. And so I just like how they're just kind of really pushing that in the classified era.
So what you're saying here, Phil, is that you're calling your shot on classified Psych Out.
Oh, I would not hate that. I would actually probably prefer the Supersonic Fighters iteration, but yeah, let's go for it.
Really, anything but that Dayglow green. Firefly says they'll show up in pallets on Brian Kaufman's doorstep.
Sounds about right.
I mean, I'm sure he figured out a way around the 2 per customer line. Like I'm sure he just kind of rotated through about. If somebody's going to have 30 of these things, it's Brian Kaufman.
These things were a limit of 5.
Were they? Again, I was half asleep when I did it.
Which is completely stupid.
Right.
He only needed about 10 other alternate logins. It's fine. It's easy.
I never thought I'd wake up to a world where I was disappointed I didn't get a Crystal Ball figure.
Right, especially when you can go to your local Walmart and find one of the ones from '87 still hanging on the pegs.
Yeah,
that clearance aisle, man, it's a treasure trove. It's right down there next to the plants in the garden center.
You need to go to one of your Walmarts.
No, you don't.
No.
I don't go to our Walmarts. Anyhow, next news.
Have Walmarts here till the mid-90s.
Hey, this thing actually happened.
Oh my gosh, it did, didn't it?
It did. We talked about it getting delayed for so long that it was kind of anticlimactic when it actually came around. No, actually, this was a really fun one. So if you have not watched the Hasbro Pulse fan stream from yesterday, rather, go do so. It was a good one. We got to see the team dressed up like Cold Slither roadies. Can't beat that.
There weren't enough neckerchiefs inexplicably wrapped around the thighs.
Maybe, but I mean, they were behind the table the entire time.
Not enough shots.
They could have been there. I got yeah.
Firefly reminiscing on the clearance aisle at Walmart. Crystal ball at action packs forever and ever. Those action packs.
The pom-pom gun, baby.
Oh, I love those things. I really did. I mean, I love them because of their cheese factor, make no mistake, but even as a kid, I enjoyed kitsch. Andrew Gaugan says, seriously, my Walmart clearance aisle is full of toys with markdown stickers that show a whole dollar off. Your Walmart managers are mean. That's just mean.
You're toying with your emotions.
So anyways, first out of the gate were some digital renders. And some of these we had an idea were coming, and some of them we didn't. But anyways, you can see there it's Hockey Snake Eyes version 4. Not quite as hockified as the original, but that's a nice adaptation. Phil, I'll turn to you as being slightly younger than us. This is your Snake Eyes after all.
Technically, it was my first Snake Eyes, but not the 3 3/4 inch. It was the Hall of Fame version. So I am actually hoping he has that blue stripe down the sides. Although I am a little disappointed that the gauntlets don't have the random Japanese characters on them.
That you know of.
They're saving those for Night Fighter Guile. That's what they're doing.
Fair enough.
Probably wait for the G.I. Joe classified Street Fighters.
But yeah, I'm probably going to take the leg gear off just to make him look more like the original. Because that's just where my brain goes.
You want the stripe down the side to give him that full sweatpants look.
Exactly. It's got to be the athleisure look of the 90s.
And then we'll jump over to the ultimate original 13 guy, Racktime Rob, for commentary on Colonel Hawk with the MMS. The MMS was, obviously we had the HMS last year, so we knew the MMS was coming, but we all kind of forgot about it, didn't we?
Yeah.
So, Racktime Rob, what do you think?
Hey, now we got something for the Vamp to tow, just like they said.
Finally.
Yeah.
Also noted that the Ostriker would be able to tow it with its tiny, tiny wheels.
Yeah. With the wee little wheels.
That's so wee.
Well, you could take the big wheels off of here and maybe put them on the Ostriker.
I got problems with that Ostriker, man. It was also noted that the MMS is going to be an Amazon exclusive.
I believe Snake Eyes is too.
That they were a little less clear about that.
They showed, they weren't quite clear, but they were both showing them on that Amazon exclusive screen. So I have a feeling that it might be,
Steve Young asks, are the missiles different? I have not lined up the picture next to the HMS to tell. I wouldn't be surprised if there were some small differences.
I think they're the same.
I would think so too, simply from the why mold a new piece thing, but it's possible. Dave McDonald, I need some clarification on that. Will Hawk be the first straight arm classified? I don't know what they're asking me there. But what I noticed first and foremost, and what Racktime Rob noticed when we were watching it yesterday, Hawk's loaded to the gills, man. Hawk is strapped.
Yeah. He will not be taken easily once he's fired off his 3 Patriot missiles. Right. He's launching missiles and laying down suppressive cover fire. Hawk's angry at the world. He's got lasers and bullets, and he's got a knife. He'll stab you dead. He's willing to kill for that promotion.
Oh.
And yet part of me wants him to have the more simpler web gear. But, I'm a purist like that. Doesn't have to be silver, but I just want the suspenders.
Jake Rose says, hopefully his thumb won't break when holding weapons like the 82 did. Look, man, I can't even remember giving Hawk a gun in '82 and thumb broke off of him. So whatever.
I think mine still has his thumb.
I never had Hawk with the straight arm. I have Hawk, but I have the '83, and his thumbs are fine.
You have to give him something from an accessory pack. He is the accessory pack.
Brian King says they still didn't fix the blast effects. I say they're blast effects. Do they really need to be fixed?
I think because like the smoke is, towards the back of the missile there, and there's fire out.
No, I get you. I just they're blast effects. They're things that I can't see any fault in, even if they're completely wrong. They could be blue, and I'd be like, ooh, blast effect.
It's a blue. Oh, that's so nice.
It makes me do explodies.
Them missiles run on butane. That's a clean burning missile. Firefly says, serious question. Why was the MMS never retooled with a different turret like they did with the Vamp? Seems like an easy sell. Well, I mean, I guess.
Because it was released in '84 with a Vamp.
Right. I'm just thinking that
they kind of did the Vamp.
I think maybe more what he means is why were we not given different MMSs with different weapon pods or weapon systems? And that is a good question. I would say that a gun sitting on that particular mount would be kind of a boring toy. Because there's nowhere for an operator. Maybe if you get a seated gun, maybe if that was the base for a whirlwind kind of weapon, maybe that would work. But I don't know. Good question.
Instead, we got the missile defense system.
I'm sorry. I'm getting caught up on live chat, so you guys can say stuff,
Yeah.
Bully.
It's like teaching an improv class.
And
we need a place name. Anybody in the audience? And a profession. Keep it PG, people. PG.
Sheep herder. And the war torn province of the Democratic Republic of Congo. I don't know.
Similarly, with some more digital renders, we got the retro line. The next round of retro figures will be the G.I. Joe Trooper and the Cobra Bat, both of their Sunbow decos. These are going to be the only two figures in that wave because they're both army builders, and they want to give folks as much of a chance to stock up on these as they like. But Phil Donnelly,
yes,
you're the green shirt of What's on Joe Mind. How do you feel about them?
I'm wearing blue. Yeah, I appreciate it. It actually is a much more accurate green shirt than we ever got in the 2000s. So I'm appreciative of that.
Yeah, that 6-pack of 3 3/4 guys from, was it about 2004?
Yeah.
So some of them looked okay, and then some of them looked really, really weird.
And then we got really half of them again in a different set. It's like a last minute swap out.
We got some decent looking ones with the 25th anniversary, but they had the terrible Duke arms.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is easily the best representation of a green shirt.
And I do like the swap out parts. So you get 2 different versions if you want. You can't really mix and match easily. I mean, you can if you want. Who are we to judge? But
right.
It's probably easy enough to get some extra heads from like Marvel Legends or somewhere else to expand your roster. I appreciate that. You
can always tell when people are using Marvel Legends heads with G.I. Joe customs, though. You wouldn't think it, but it's really a different style.
That is going to look so weird with a Hercules head.
Yeah, it just...
Or even better, Wonder Man.
He's got so much chin.
I'm
Daredevil.
just giving options there, man. You don't have to do it.
Spidey head.
Besides, they're going to have the helmet on anyway to cover up half of it.
Andrew Galga notes that he likes the green shirt. He's just not a fan of the weapons that he comes with. I can feel that one. That the Stalker submachine gun there seems like a miss. You'd figure that's a spot for an M16. Got to have the laser rifle, right? That you have to. That's mandatory.
XLMR3, absolutely.
But and the pistol and the knife, sure. But yeah, the submachine gun is kind of a miss.
Isn't that the Duke loadout?
Probably.
I think so. Yeah, now that you mention it.
Same with the helmet with the visor, which probably explains
and
why
he's got Duke's hard fighting fists.
you're punching.
Torpedo 83 asks, can we get a Phil Donnelly head sculpt? You can if you visit Mark II Design next time he and Phil are at the same show.
Oh,
Don't bust that thing out, Phil. That's not you.
It was never me. I was just going to say they tried and it didn't work so well.
That's like if they found Phil Donnelly's hobo twin brother in a ditch. He ate a pack of donuts and then fell down, and now he's all bloated. Soaking up pond water. And then we
felled by day-old Krispy Kreme.
And now we got the guy who bought, I think, 5 Crimson Bats. Racktime Rob, talk to us about the Cobra bat there from the Sunbow deco.
I bought 2 Crimson Bats, but yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's the bat. I don't think I need any more.
Yeah, I definitely don't. It looks good. If you're an absolute, gotta have it Sunbow purist, they included all the stuff that they needed to include. You got the battle damage head, you got the battle damage chest.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to re-release something like this, to keep it, give people who came in late a chance to get this stuff. I mean, I'm not mad at them, but I don't know that I'm buying, any of them. So.
Yeah. But again, if you're gonna do that, at least they did it well. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And blast effects.
Yeah, they do little fire effects. It's probably a pass for me too. I don't need any more bats. Oh, I'm so loaded up on bats. They're still easy to find out there.
Yeah,
you got so many. Bruce Wayne's jealous.
I have 5 of the regular bats, so yeah.
I was at Kokomo Toys last week. I was at the local shop here in India, the Toy Pit last week, and like both of them are loaded to the gills with the original bats from 3 years ago. And they're not terribly expensive. So I don't need any more bats.
They're not all that different from this one either, but
no.
Maybe it's one for keeping on the card.
Right. There's that. And again, if you really like if you're a big fan of the old cartoon, it is in that motif. So you can get one for that. It's almost like the classified redo of the Super 7 Ultimate. Jake Rose asks, why is the sidearm on the side of the bat that has the hand that gets replaced with things can't hold a gun? Well, I mean, I always wondered why he had a sidearm at all, man. He can turn his hand into a flamethrower or a laser or how many more guns does he need? But
just in case.
Right? Toy Bounty Hunter's in. He's getting 4 of each. Andrew Galgan asks, what happened to the Arctic bats? Well, I got a couple of them. I don't know. Was there a problem with the Arctic bats?
I don't think they ever came out from Big Bad Toy Store, but if you ordered from Pulse, you did get yours.
Now I feel bad.
Yeah, it's not everybody got theirs in. It was weird.
I'll be honest. I'm not terribly plugged in on the. Like I may have orders out there that never got fulfilled, and I just don't know any better. I just haven't kept track.
You got to keep track of your emails.
Right. I think I'm still waiting on my dial tone, but I think that's about it. I think to this point,
I think everybody is.
I've been lucky. There's a few folks some folks got their dial tones. Cooter's Garage said he found the gray sweatpants bat at Target, and that was a hard pass. Is that your crimson bat, Rob? Gray sweatpants bat?
Gray sweatpants. No.
That's the Python Patrol, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Python Patrol bat.
I think I got one of those because it was ugly. I do have one of those. I didn't army build those. God no, but
yeah, I got one of each of the Python Patrol ones because they're ugly. Except for the Viper, which is cool.
Yeah, the Viper's pretty kick ass.
And what's his face? Copperhead's not bad either, but
no, but Copperhead was always pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, but the rest of them, yikes.
The Televiper was okay if you ignored his bright yellow shirt.
Yeah.
The Trooper was all right, or the one that was in the Trooper body was fine.
Officer,
yeah. Because the officer with the Trooper body as opposed to the officer with the officer body, I don't know. Classified got some naming things wrong. But,
and then of course, still the winner in the ugly clubhouse, Python Crimson Guard.
Phil Paloma hears your voice and is very sad you're not actually there to love. You're her favorite Phil, and it should be noted that Paloma is one of Diana Davis's bulldogs.
Hi, Paloma.
There's pictures of Phil getting loved on by wild roaming bulldogs.
It took 2 days to get the hair off. That was my jacket. My one jacket for TFCon.
Whatever. You're just bragging about how warm and sunny it is there. It's on Instagram for everybody to see.
Yes, I saw the sanctity of our private chats.
You deserve it, you ass.
It was a brisk 80 degrees out.
That's too warm. You're going to have to do a better job of selling California to me, Phil.
Well, we had the AC going on in the car. It's fine.
That is true. I tell you, if there's a reason to ever buy the Kia Soul, it's that the air conditioner on that bad boy is merciless. Jim Smith arguing against keeping one on the card. Not if the card looks like Flint's. That's the truth.
They can't all be winners.
That's a bad card. It's not good.
That figure looks a lot better than the card.
Yeah, the figure looks great. The card is not. Doug Dello notes that we need an animal companion pug. Which Joe needs a pug? Whichever Joe has the worst sense of smell would get the
Ice
pug.
Cream Soldier, because he too doesn't have a nose.
Right. We need a whichever Joe comes equipped with a gas mask. We need a pug.
So airtight.
Oh. I used to work before I got my current job in the throes of the pandemic. I worked at a retail store that dealt in pet food and pet supplies, and we were allowed to bring our dogs to work if they were sociable. And obviously, I have no dog, but one of my coworkers did, and it was a pug named Bruno. And Bruno was an absolute sweetheart, but Bruno is the single gassiest creature on the planet Earth. I'd just be standing there running the register with Bruno, and he's just sitting there looking at me. Because I was popularly known at this place of employment. My boss was one of those bosses that just loved to talk to the customers. So we were all just in Kim's way, which is fine. If that's her thing. Lord knows we've all had bosses that never want to deal with customers. So to have a boss that wants to talk to all of them and pet all of the dogs and pet all of the cats. It's great. Forward front bosses are the greatest. Anyways, so usually I was running register, and nobody really knew my name because I never got to talk to anybody. So I was just the treat guy. I came out from behind the counter, and I always had treats for everybody's dogs after Kim was done mugging them. And so, Bruno would sit there and look up at me like, come on, treat guy, where's the treats? And he would just fart continuously, audibly. Like you just hear him.
At least people won't think you're blaming the dog.
Right. Like, thank God we had masks on. That's all I'm saying. Even if it was not at the height of COVID, I'd have still been forced to wear a mask at work because Bruno. We had Bruno. Anyways, so that's my random pug story.
And we talked about Bruno.
Shh! Don't talk about the Bruno.
Silencio, Bruno.
As we moved further into the live stream, we got off onto Cold Slither a bit. I know we've already shown the images that we had a couple of weeks ago. They showed them again. They talked a bit about the Cold Slither video and lyric video that are available on YouTube. Be sure to check them out when we're done here tonight. They've got all kinds of Cold Slither stuff on their Instagram and Facebook feeds as well. Go check it out at the Hasbro Pulse social media stuff. Again, once we're done, because we'll know if you leave. We'll know.
Just the watch count drops.
Diana Davis notes, perhaps with good that she did mention it. No treats. The love Paloma has for Phil is pure and low fart. Sure. I mean, and it's never no fart. It's a dog. She's a dog after all.
Yeah.
It's never no fart. Dogs, that's what they do. It's they love unconditionally and they pass wind. But yeah, Bruno was a heck of a nice dog. I still have a couple pictures of him in my phone, but it's also worth noting that there are those little green vapors like in cartoons in the back of all of them.
Stink lines.
That's how bad that dog stink. Oh. Oh.
Just a couple of three green wavy lines going up.
Just a low-hanging mist. Available now. These are the guys that hit pre-order yesterday. I keep thinking it's Thursday. We moved to Wednesday, and I'm trying to make it Thursday, and we're talking about something that happened Tuesday. So forgive me. At some point, I'm gonna say 2 days ago, and remember I'm talking about this.
Trying to manifest Friday.
Right. Blowtorch is a regular release. He is available wherever you get your classifieds. And there he is. That's about as good as you can expect a Blowtorch to look. Racktime Rob, I know this is one of your boys from back in the day.
I do like this Blowtorch. I snapped him up.
What do you like about him?
I like the fact that the colors. I mean, he's still that bright red and yellow, but it's not too bright. I like that we've got some different accents of colors in there. The darker colors that I kind of liked when they brought that in on the Sunbow models of him. So I'm digging this. This is a nice update on the character.
Zaymot CGC with a question that I had too. I wonder if those flames work with Dreadnought Torch.
I think they're the same ones.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah,
I would think. A lot of times this classified stuff's been pretty modular, so I would be surprised if it didn't.
Yeah, I like I said, I think those are the exact same flame effects that came with Torch. So
I do too, but even in case it's not, it should work.
Yeah.
Phil, what do you think?
Yeah, what Rob said. It's the little bits of black. I know there's some purists out there who want them to just be the red and yellow, but I do kind of want those little pops of black in there to break up the scheme a little bit, because original Blowtorch, he's garish but also a little boring at the same time. He needs a little more color.
He doesn't need a little more color. He needs a little more variation, and I think that's what we're looking for. There's no way to get more color on the original Blowtorch.
It's saturated.
They added in the bright green of sci-fi with the bright yellow of Blowtorch.
Right.
But then you have to wear shades to look at him.
But I wouldn't be like the silver nodules on the armor there made me think of some of the foreign equivalents, like TNT from Argentina had those silver bits, I think. And come on, Phil, you're the guy on that. You're supposed to, are you correcting me on this one or no?
I am looking it up right now.
Bastard. Bastard.
Well, no, see, his top was silver, but the bottom was blue. So
Okay.
halfway right.
All right. There was one of those that had like those little circles on the armor where they were colored. Greg Augustin asked, is that the grunt head sculpt? And I don't think so.
Yeah, they've been pretty good about not reusing head sculpts.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think so. But I could be wrong. J. Ben, I'll sure, but
Jedi.
No one ever lost
Jedi
blowtorch.
Ben.
Jedi, there we go. Good. Thank you. I appreciate that. No one ever lost blowtorch in the yard as a kid. He stood out. Laugh out loud. Yes, he did.
Unless you had red and orange grass. You know.
Right. I think that's a new name. So welcome to the show.
He was lost in the forests of New England during the fall.
Yes.
Joel McMullen, 41 years, and blowtorch still has a terrible haircut. Well,
all the New Yorkers would drive up and try and find their blowtorches from the previous year.
Right. But Joel, that tends to be how it goes. You can age and never ever grow a sense of style. I'm living proof. And of course, Figure Six Pack putting the final word on blowtorch: pork chop sandwiches. He looks like he's ready to make some pork chop sandwiches there.
How long until Gridiron Studios makes one of those?
Makes a pork chop sandwich?
Yeah, as an accessory to upgrade.
I don't know. Maybe it's maybe that's something to get Gerwig on. We also had Darklon. And Darklon is pretty cool. Like that's better than you'd expect Darklon to be. I'm still not really sold on Darklon. They're doing some cool things here, but he's just in my personal Joe world, he's just not that essential. Phil, again, you're generally more youthful than we are.
I liked the original Darklon. He was one of my earlier archive upgrades back when I was doing those on Yojo. Should probably track in how I feel about him. So I just love how quickly they killed him off in the original Larry Hama run. He's just kind of looking out a window and then explodes. It's very Looney Tunes.
Right.
I just kind of appreciated that. And that made me appreciate the figure, when the writing influences your love.
You can always tell when Larry just didn't have the time for a character. You're like the freighter was one of those things like, here's the guys I'm just done with.
Yeah.
Then I was
never used that guy before, he's dead.
Oh shit, I got a new idea for Dr. Mindbender.
Yeah, well, that was
let's get him out of there.
So I do appreciate
to work around.
I do appreciate this newer one too. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like I said, my love for Darklon really does circle back to him being blown up like Wile E. Coyote.
Ragtime Rob, what do you think of Darklon here?
I have to say, I'm not a big fan of that alternate head, but the mask for the original sculpt looks fantastic.
Yeah, that does look really good.
I mean, I did order one of these just on that.
We can no longer use the old horse joke on Darklon, why the long face? Because this one looks like it's sitting on a human head. I'm not a huge fan of that alternate head either, but I do like why it exists.
Yeah.
They are trying to, as they explained at length, they put it out there so that maybe You can have Darklon with his own special troopers, and I mean, I don't. Do I need to go that far with Darklon? No, I do not.
No.
He can just have some Iron Grenadiers to boss around like everybody else in that faction.
But hey, it's choices. So
right,
you know.
right, options.
Yeah.
Always nice to have options.
And if you want to piece together a custom figure using that head later on the line, more power to you.
I mean, I ordered it too, based off of Darklon. I kind of got a new image on him from that Destro miniseries. So
yeah, well, at least there's a point.
Yeah,
at least there's a purpose to him in that,
So he kind of found a home in my head canon. So I went with it.
I just need to give him a little signboard that says "Yipes" on it.
And
oh no. Or a little umbrella.
Yeah, I know that they were there. I have seen some complaints that he's not coming with his little vehicle, the Evader. And honestly, I have no love for the Evader. I don't need to worry. Yeah, just people get a life. Come on. It's the freaking.
It's a more
Evader.
pretentious recumbent bicycle, if that was even possible.
Right. It's not even the Dictator, right? It's
that
the
thing,
Evader.
That thing stinks.
Look, the Dictator does stink, and it's still better than the Evader.
Yeah.
Oh, Diana chiming in. Look, Darklon from Darklonia is silly. Who names their kid Darklon? He could be Darren Destro or Dirk McCullen.
Darklon is the name he picked out himself as his gamer tag when he was 14 years old.
I mean, like I said, he probably named the place after himself after he took it over. Not even Dr. Doom did that.
No.
Although he did change the name of the capital city.
Well,
Doomstadt.
Come on.
That's where you want to live. Doomstadt.
That's welcoming. That's warm. That's inviting.
It probably has universal health care.
Like Yonkers or Bayonne.
But I have to admit I still took a pass on Darklon. This is a great Darklon, and I just don't need Darklon. As somebody who's just running out of space for the stuff that I'm halfway on classified, By
the way, Phil, have you been reading this?
Can't say that I have. I haven't read Marvel in about 20 years.
Yeah, Phil's a snob.
Yeah.
Once Deadly Genesis came around and they started retconning Giant Size X-Men 1, I checked out.
In the big picture, that's probably for the best.
Yeah. So I stick to my Claremont run, which is
One Nation Under Doom. It's cool.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Does Doom refer to himself in the third person a lot?
Of course.
Of course he does.
That's all I ask.
He's Doom. That's what makes him fun.
Come on now. They're not that bad. There's some standards. But somebody who I'm not halfway on is Footloose. And Footloose is pretty awesome. I have to say I'm excited for Footloose. He looks like he came out pretty damn cool. In that picture, I'm kind of amused because I can't tell which part of his rocket launcher is backwards. Because the handle is in the right place if the missile's in the right place, but then the mouth, which you'd think the missile would be coming out of the mouth decal, is in the back of the launcher. So now the mouth is just shooting the exhaust fire. I don't understand what's going on there, but that's not the point. Otherwise, Footloose looks great.
I wish you'd put in the meditation picture. That was what did it for me.
Especially when he's surrounded by all that smoke. Yeah.
Rock time, Rob, you're old.
I wonder how that got there.
You've had Footloose for a long time. How do you feel about Footloose?
I still don't understand how a town could outlaw dancing.
I don't either.
All right, but I like Footloose a lot. That's a good figure.
Jeff Butler says it's a shame he has no Sunday shoes to kick off. That is true. But hey, buy yourself an extra quick kick. Get some extra feet.
He needs to be able to bend his legs in a bit and then pull the knees in towards him.
Phil, what do you think about Footloose?
Yeah, it's Footloose. He's just kind of your generic army trooper with grass in his helmet. So yeah, it's hard to go wrong.
I think generic is uncalled for.
Yeah. I'm talking design wise, not personality.
Well, we got a Schlepsky in the house.
I think realistic. Joe on Joe podcast advocating the scratch and sniff weed packaging.
It's patchouli.
It's not weed, but it is hemp. There is a difference. As
CBD.
any hemp grower in America will spend 45 minutes to tell you standing in line at the bank.
There's no cannabinoids.
Michael Gene Fleming says, now we just need the Marauders version so I can rebuy my first G.I. Joe in 6-inch scale.
He's probably coming.
I think that's what half of classified collectors do. I think that's what they're all waiting for, is just the opportunity to buy their first Joe in big 6-inch ultimate form.
Isn't that the last Marauders we haven't gotten yet? So it would make sense.
They haven't done Mutt yet. But maybe that's they did Low Light and Spirit in a 2-pack. Maybe they'll do Mutt and Footloose. And that way it can give Mutt a new dog like they gave Spirit a new bird.
They gave him the bird.
Doug Dillo asks, do you think he has papers on his helmet? No, I think he keeps those in the waterproof pouches on his web gear.
Got to be able to burn, man.
Right? Come on now. Anyways, so yeah, I've been waiting for Footloose pretty well since Classified started, so I'm pretty thrilled that he's finally on his way. Now we just need them to make Flash. You made Colonel Hawk, for Christ's sake. Where is Flash? Okay, it's out of my system. I promise that won't happen again. This week, it won't happen again. Maybe next week, maybe the week after, maybe every week until it happens. But I'm done for this week.
Keep your gun.
And then finally, for our regular strength releases, the Frag Viper, and this guy, he's pretty awesome. This is better than the Frag Viper has any right to be in my book. He was an absolute dog back in 1989.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, either 89 or 90, whatever it was, I forget. And this guy's pretty cool. He's not my favorite, but he at least I bought one. I was all set to pass on a Frag Viper too.
I was too.
Yeah. But no, they made his weapon system pretty cool, and they gave him the removable helmet, and he's got the surgically enhanced robot eyes, which are add some story without having to have a file card. And they cleaned up some of that sash business from his old uniform and turned most of it into web gear. Like
you didn't like the aerialist look?
This guy is pretty cool. Greg Augustin's like, was that blue sash on the video? Yeah, that was all sashes.
It was on his legs too.
Yeah, it was all over. Bart says the sash is lame. Look, that's the great part of it. It's mostly web gear. Off. That's just one sash. Get rid of it if you don't like it. You couldn't do that on the 89 3 3/4 guy. No, was no good.
I demand more sashes. More.
All the sashes.
Michael Gene Fleming is making our viewer count drop. His wallet weeps for lo he pre-ordered multiple snakes, and work comes
Oh.
early in the morning. Multiple snakes.
He's
Good
got to
God,
afford
man.
them now.
Good God. Anyways, yeah. So good night, Michael. Appreciate you stopping in. But Rack time, Rob, what do you think?
Yeah, like you said, I was really set to kind of pass on him too, because like that was a lame ass figure from '89. But no, I ordered one. That's much better than he has a right to be. And when you pop off, that helmet, he looks like he's one of the Borg.
Here's a little inside sports from Diana Davis. Any weirdness you see in Classified is an Energon universe plot point. Those teams work very closely now. So there you go. Thank you for that tidbit, Diana.
All right.
I mean, we had an idea ever since we got, what was the mole rat? What's
the mole rat was basically mining Energon. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I took a pass on him because mole rat.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good to know. That's something to keep in mind going forward. Joel McMullen, not nearly as nice as we are. At least they got rid of their leotards. Bill, what do you think, man?
I like that they're still calling back to the 10 minutes in the 80s when Highlight was a thing.
Right. Look, man, those suckers, the balls come out of those weird scoop things at 130 miles an hour, and they're hard rubber. Highlight dudes are no joke.
I just remember how, as a kid in the 80s, in the late 80s, hearing everybody talk about Highlight, and then 5 minutes later, nobody mentioning it ever again. One wonders if that's the future of pickleball.
No, it's already hung around more than Highlight.
Yeah, because people could actually play pickleball.
Yeah.
Like I got nothing against pickleball. You're right. Like it's a way for people who aren't so active to get out and stay active and be competitive and have some fun. I don't need to see pickleball on ESPN2 over the weekend with like people who are in their 20s and 30s playing, professional pickleball. I don't need that ever.
Should it stay on the Ocho?
Like pickleball is one of those sports that, like slow pitch softball, it should be reserved for people that can't play other sports. If you're in your 20s and 30s and you're super fit and you're hyper athletic and you're super competitive and you can't play a real sport, don't take up pickleball. Just stop. Just go fail at a real sport like you should.
Go play tennis.
Right? Go play tennis. Go play baseball. Go do something productive with your time. But leave pickleball for us fat dudes and for future senior citizens.
And arthritics.
Right.
us rec league warriors.
Right.
Who just want something to do.
Right. Oh.
But yeah, fun figure.
Yeah. Diana Davis notes that people still play Highlight, and yeah, that's true. They're called Indians. But yeah, Highlight's no joke. Like Highlight is hard, and Highlight can potentially kill you. So I don't make fun of Highlight so much as I have a healthy fear and aversion to Highlight. Oh, Jeff Butler with maybe the line of the night. What is the deal with pickleball? In Jerry Seinfeld language, what is the deal with pickleball?
It was named after their dog.
Oh my God. Yes, the Cubans also play Highlight. They do.
But it's also big in India.
Yeah, huge in India, or it was. I don't know. It's kind of been swallowed up by all the cricket I see coming out of India these days. But I don't begrudge them that. They're good at it. People can't come and begrudge us as Americans for enjoying baseball. They're no good at it. People who are good at baseball, well, they can complain about it. Anyways. Also for general release, it's Law and Order. I neglected to make the change to the price there. They are not $25. They are more like $45.
Yeah.
So don't let that throw you. So my apologies on the graphic. But anytime we get more animals, I'm happy, and especially when it's Order and his good boy face. I'm really happy. We grew up. We had a German Shepherd mix when we were real young. So Order always kind of reminded me of old Frosty. So he's always been something of a favorite of mine. I've liked Order more than I like Law.
Is it because it doesn't look like Kirk?
No. I mean, when we were kids and had no idea who Kirk Bazigian was, we used to call Law Johnny Bench. And if you catch a picture of Johnny Bench from the mid '80s, you'll see that that works too. Anyways, Order. He's awesome. He's a good doggo. Rex, Rob, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I went in on Law and Order too. They're pretty good.
And Lenny talked some during the presentation about the various hands they gave Law. They went to work and they did some research on various hand signals that a handler would be using with the dog. They did some of that with Mutt too, but you get a full accoutrement of hands with Law as well. So very cool on that aspect of things. Phil, what do you think?
I don't remember my first G.I. Joe. I have an older brother, so we just kind of always had them. But I do remember Law and Order being one of the first ones I did get, and I absolutely have got to get a new version of that. Do kind of wish he came with his leash, though, but that's probably the only criticism I have of this. Although I will say you labeled him Frag Viper.
Apparently it just didn't take any of the changes I made to the slide.
That is a bitchin' Frag Viper.
That is a very big departure from its original design.
They really did get rid of the sashes.
Yeah.
Right. I always thought the leash was kind of unnecessary if these dogs are that well trained. So I didn't use them very often as it was. And he's got his vest and gear on, so if he really needs to be constrained, you can see the handles there. But he's even got his little doggy helmet with the little doggy goggles. I love Order. Toy Bounty Hunter with another good point there. Like the packs from Doc and the 60th Soldier that can attach to Order's harness. It's cool. Again, the classified line is very modular, and I dig that about it. Not that the old line wasn't the same, but man, you have a lot more opportunities when you scale your figures up as much as these guys are scaled up, and they don't miss on too many of them.
It's especially welcome because you have too many pouches with the 60th Soldier, so they need to go somewhere.
I gotta go somewhere. Well, put them on the dog. Joel McMullen notes that the helmet seems a little small. I mean, he's an MP, so that's like a toy helmet, so that's okay.
You're just used to the 86 helmet, which is way oversized.
Right, he's got big earpieces. He had 87 Bluetooth in there, which meant it was the size of a cinnamon roll. Figure 6-pack still thinks Junkyard looks like Triumph the Insult comic dog, and that is 100% correct.
Need to get him a little cigar.
Oh yes, it's very nice. Oh yeah.
Needs a bow tie and a cigar, otherwise it's pretty useless.
And a Cobra for him to poop on.
Firefly argues that Order's leash in 3 3/4 was fun for what it was. It's a cool accessory. Even Gators had a leash. Right. Gators need a leash though, because Gators are dumb. Order's not dumb. He's a well-trained doggo. He's a pro. Remember, when they started out, he drove the Jeep and Law took care of the bombs. And it's not a normal dog. I love it. I got to put the best joke from the '87 movie in the conversation.
He's a German Shepherd. He'll do your taxes if you're nice.
Right,
enough.
right. Germans are no joke, man. Another thing from working at the dog food store. There's some well-trained German Shepherds out there, man. Expect them to come over to the keyboard and start typing out messages. Are you the treat guy? Yes, I'm the treat guy.
If it wouldn't be too much trouble.
May I please have some Treatos? Here you go. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Anyways. So Law, big win on Law. Big win on Law and Order. Absolutely had to pull the trigger on these guys as well. And then that moves us into our quotes portion of the program. These are available now. Because, again, it's a Target exclusive. It's the G.I. Joe and Cobra Diver 2-pack from the Mass Device, along with the heavy water as seen floating in the action shot there.
Not very heavy.
Target exclusive was available for about 9 minutes before they claimed they were out. They'll probably show up on store shelves before too long, but God only knows. I'm
hoping the last time I tried to track down a Target exclusive I wanted, I had to hunt.
I'm so over the retailer exclusives at this point. It just anyways, rumor has it these guys are about $55, so good luck in finding them. Phil, what do you think?
We mentioned this before when the renders came out, but I don't need these. I'm not that big into aquatic guys, and even less so generic aquatic guys. I kind of want the heavy water element, but I'm not going to be paying $55 for an accessory. So I actually passed. I had the opportunity, but I passed.
I'm sure too that somebody's going to pick up an army full of these, and will have a heavy water that they'll be willing to part with for whatever. Jedi Ben notes that he got a set on Pulse easy enough, and that appeared to be the place to get them. They may not have had many to offer, but if you were early enough, those sales seem to go without a hitch.
Yeah, I got one.
Just like with all the exclusives, the Pulse sales tend to work out okay. They're just not able to make too many of them. The problem comes in that the bulk of the offerings, the bulk of the supply, are available through the retailers and the retailers only. And that's where things get difficult, because they'll put some of them up and then some of them later in the day and then random times, and nobody's happy. Cooter's Garage notes they use the yellow diving suits again in the first part of the Trader episode. Yeah, those yellow orangey numbers came up anytime the Joes needed generic diving gear. It's more than just the once. You didn't see the Cobra Divers again too often after that, because they had come out with the eels by then. So right, by the time the first season of the cartoon came around, we had the far superior Cobra eel. Love those things. Love the Cobra eel.
This guy would be good for like a diver who's not an eel, but you know.
Right. You know, you have other saboteurs and the like. You know, I'm not saying that these are useless, but
yeah,
let's face it, the eel is awesome, and this guy's just okay.
He's the trainee.
But it's always an adventure with Target and Walmart exclusives, and they both put us through it again. Thankfully, I don't need these guys. Not mandatory for me either.
I was able to snag one on the Pulse, but I wouldn't have been heartbroken had I not.
And then we've got the Cobra Snake, the breakout star of the G.I. Joe live stream, March 18, 2025. This boy big.
Yeah.
This a big boy. And you can
got
see there
he's on his back.
Or at least a booster, you know.
Yeah.
I can't imagine something this humongous climbs stairs terribly easily.
It's like the Ed 209.
Right. So it just needs that little jet just to get him up those steps. But he's got the full accoutrement of weapons there. You can give him 2 hands. He's got a claw. He's got a laser. He's got a flamethrower. He's got the missile, just like the dude did back in 1983. And they showed several different figures in the cockpit. It seems to fit just about anybody.
Not Road Pig.
Not Road Pig, no. But male or female, they seem to get in there with very little problem. So if a full 6-inch figure is fitting in the upper torso of this guy, he's large. That's a big toy. This guy's going to be almost a foot tall. So, yeah, he look, I have no love for the old Snake. Did not care one way or the other for him. They served their purpose in one issue of the comic book. They popped up in the mass device for a second, and I was more than happy to let them slip off into the oblivion of lost G.I. Joe lore. But this guy's incredible. Really did the work on this one. They are a Pulse exclusive. They do not come with a figure of their own, which keeps the price point at a relatively low, note the air quotes, low $75. Racktime Rob, you're the old guy.
Mm-hmm.
You had a Snake when we were kids.
Yeah.
What do you think of this guy?
Yeah, this is definitely they found a purpose for the Snake without it being like, oh, this is just a prototype bat. You know, because the Snake became really useless after you have the bat.
Right.
This clearly has another purpose. So
right.
This is an engine of destruction.
Yeah, so. This is not a robot. This is a mech suit.
Yeah.
Like that I think is the big difference with the old Snake and this Snake. I don't see this Snake necessarily being terribly functional without someone in the cockpit. What do you think, Phil?
I mean, if you want to play it as a robot, you're welcome enough. It certainly has enough articulation to work that way.
Right.
But yeah, it does update it in all the best ways. We don't have to cram the figure's legs down the robot legs and try to awkwardly cram his arms into the torso like a vampire. He's just kind of sitting in there in a chest rig. Yeah, right. I appreciate those updates. Obviously, there's lots of repaint potential here, so they could keep this mold going for years if they really want. That said, I just space-wise, I have to pass on it because it's very cool. I don't have space in my room. I don't have space for the Dragonfly or Rattler. I got those anyway, just because, impulse control.
You hope to have space maybe one day.
Yeah, I'll figure out a plot at some point, but you're running into reality of here is there's so many big things here, and I just had to pass. And it kills me that I had to pass, but I had to pass.
Matt Rubin asks, the only question that I have with the new Snake armor is when we get new Exo Squad sets. I would say probably never, because nobody remembers Exo Squad.
And that was just Playmates toy line, so
just you and Phil. Actually, my friend Ben, he's still kind of a Joe fan, but he's really still just an Exo Squad fan. He's mental. But actually, Phil, I'm in the same boat. I really wanted to come up with a reason to buy this, but my stuff is still all boxed up. My Hiss is still in the box. My Vamp is still in the box. Shoot, even the small ones like the Trouble Bubble are still boxed up because there's just nowhere for it to go, and I can't justify more to just sit in a box.
I imagine it's starting to look like a warehouse over there.
Yeah. It really is. It's all just piling up, and I need to figure out something to do with it. I need to again get better about stuff that doesn't need to be here anymore, I need to be a little bit more proactive about that issue. But until then, oh, I've made enemies. Mantis 9999999 loves Expo Squad. How dare you?
Made enemies. Well, that is what you do best.
Pretty much. I was getting Canada pissed off with me long before that was fashionable. Long before that was the trend, okay?
And that's why you're not allowed north of the border.
Right. For the record, folks in Canada, I was just kidding, and I'm sorry about what's going on now. Joe Slepsky is singing along, hissing a box. One, grab a hold of the box. Anyways.
There's a step 2.
Put your hiss in that box.
Put that hit in the box. Anyways, I'm not going any further. Just Jeffrey said, and that's true. Good thing Beach Part 86 doesn't take up much space. That is very true. It is one, rather small container, despite the impressive number that is attached to the number of beachheads inside. It doesn't take up a ton of space. Even when I finally get them, that's 2 shelves. That'll be, we'll be okay. That's part of why Beach Party 86 is a thing, is because I still want to collect these things, but I needed to get focused on one thing, so I didn't collect everything.
You gotta, target your poor financial decision making.
Right. It's not an investment; they're toys. But yeah, it really does not take up a ton of space, so that is a very good thing in my world. Racktime Rob, you get yourself a snake.
I ordered 1 snake.
All right, so I'll get to play with Racktime Rob's snake armor
in a box.
Eventually, he takes his stuff out of boxes. He got the room with the big closet back there, so he's good. Then you can see it behind him if he moves his head. There it is. My room has a little closet, which is full of crap like clothes.
Yeah.
And
but
my luggage.
Do those clothes include fine merchandise such as this?
Well, similar, yes. That shirt is not available to anyone anymore. But we do have other fine styles which you can get at the What's on Joe Mind swag shop at TeePublic. Link down below in the description. I would say if you're interested in a What's on Joe Mind t-shirt, though, maybe wait a week until they're on sale again. End of the month, they're back on sale. So hang on a couple days. We just did a sale last week. One person bought a hat.
Hey,
it was probably Doug Dello because he buys everything. I haven't done any.
I wanted to get a hat.
I haven't done any new T-shirts, so I know it's not Matt Rubin. If I do new T-shirts, Matt Rubin will buy them.
Yeah, because he has all the other ones.
He has all the other ones. Diana Davis notes that it does take up less space out of the box. That is true.
Sort of.
Kinda. Because I'm real good at Tetris, right? I can squeeze every ounce of space out of things that are square and move them around real easy, and potentially store or transport them real easy without them breaking. And that's kind of the problem. So.
And now we've all got the Tetris theme song stuck in our heads again.
There you go. Ding 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 ding. And if we insult the Russians,
hey,
they had it coming.
Yeah, their government did. I should note that I'm not really mad at any people. I'm mad at governments. Matt Rubin says, not all T-shirts, just most. Had to set a boundary. It was either T-shirts or toys, and get your one. If there are T-shirts, there better be T-shirts. That's all I'm saying. You're putting my kids through college, Matt Rubin.
All none of them.
All 0.
That's how it's easy to do.
David Warren Hernandez trying to start crap says that I'm an inbox collector. No, man. No, I would. I need space. I have to create space to put stuff. I can't enjoy it if I'm just going to open all my boxes and just have stuff laying around. I'm going to drive myself crazy. I need to be able to put things away, and in order to do that, I need to have places to put things away. Boxes are easy to kind of stack up in other places or in far corners and things like that. So I open everything eventually, but sometimes it's difficult finding a place to put it once it's open.
Basically, what he needs everybody to do is to go to the What's on Joe Mind store and sell out everything so he can then afford the mansion so he can unbox all his G.I. Joe stuff.
Right? I mean, it's all from TeePublic. So I challenge you guys to go out and just sell them out in every color of every shirt.
And all sizes.
And all sizes.
For him and her.
Diana notes that her pets Claude, Paloma, and Splash do not have the ability to wear shirts and plug the show. I disagree. Bulldogs are very easily men small. Like those are broad dogs. There's a lot of ground that Claude is a little more difficult. But I'm sure that we have some other kind of paraphernalia on there that would be useful for him. Have I heard of shelves, TM? There, I know, and there's nowhere to put shelves. I need walls for shelves. And we're kind of out.
I have DVDs I need to shelve. I keep putting off buying the unit because I don't know where I'm putting it.
Right. It's a little difficult right now.
You'll lose your copy of Shrek 2.
Right. Matt Rubin wears a men's small and doesn't think a bulldog would fit in this shirt. Clearly, he has not lived with bulldogs.
They spread out to fill their container.
They do.
They're like cartoon cats.
So snake armor, snake robot, snake, whatever you want to call them, big hit, big win. Kudos, tip of the cap to the design team and everybody at Hasbro on this. This guy's awesome. Then we also got some name-only reveals, some of which we knew about already. Cobra Commander in his battle armor and Monkey Wrench, we saw the parts leaked on them, and they said something about those guys being available come June, when we get to Yojo June, which will probably be the next live stream. Major Blood, I know we've already got Major Blood, but this one was described as judged, and that's a direct quote from Lenny. Judged. And then finally, Mercer in a 2-pack. Some folks are saying with Sergeant Slaughter. I from what they were saying, I got that they were going with the Renegades theme, but I didn't necessarily get that he was coming with Sarge.
I believe they pretty much let that cat out of the bag. That he was going to be in a 2-pack with the Sarge.
All right, maybe it's Warthog version Sarge. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be.
Could be Warthog, could be mail order, could be the convention figure if we really want to dive deep.
Get out of here. Mail order. I don't need a repaint of Sarge. Give me something. If you're going to sell me the Sarge again, give me a different Sarge or a Sarge.
They'd have to change his pants out if it's the mail order.
Yeah,
I'm going to cut you from the broadcast.
The wrestling gear, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to cut you both from the rest. It's just going to be me on the show. You're all out.
That'd be a great way, though, of enraging Mattel because they essentially put out that figure just without the G.I. Joe logo.
Jedi Ben says that Sarge has been showing at a convention, so there you go.
Sarge.
Why no Taurus or Red Dog?
I think they're next.
Good question. I mean, I guess it just makes for another 2-pack.
Yeah.
They're still hauling their itty-bitty ditty bags.
I'll be honest. I don't care enough about the Renegades to be terribly enthused. But if they give me Warthog Sarge, I might spill for that 2-pack.
I might do Mercer just to throw him with the Cobras like he's into the G.I. Joe comic.
For now.
Yeah.
Maybe he won't be later.
What if they gave us bearded Mercer?
Yeah. Then no, we're out.
Whatever. It doesn't bother me. You know my feelings about Mercer in the big picture. He would be have whatever useful information removed from him and then tossed in a brig and forgotten.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like what they're doing with Mercer in the comic, because if he does turn, he's clearly got a hell of a lot more information.
Right. And he's not just some Viper, right?
Yeah,
he's Destro's number 2 guy.
Yeah, he's much more valuable.
Right. And like that's the whole problem with the original story, right? Like,
yeah,
Mercer, the old Cobra Viper, is pointless. Who cares? He's a Viper, right? Mercer, if he were a Cobra higher up, well, okay, that's a guy that maybe you keep around for some reason or another. But yeah, so this guy is far more than a grunt. There's a reason for him to continue to be in the story. Vagon is just happy that we did get a Crazy Legs. We did, and we got a Ripcord too.
Yeah, and they came with a bitchin' helicopter.
All kinds of
there was a helicopter
paratrooper action in that Dragonfly HasLab. Right, toy bounty hunters. Like, even if he had been a Televiper, he'd have been more valuable. Good point.
Yeah,
but Vipers, they after years of telling us that, or a year and a half of telling us that Vipers were the bottom of the pyramid, who cares if a Viper turns? Great, glad to have you back on the side of the Angels, son. Here's your cell.
Yeah, glad to see you saw the error of your ways. We'll see you in 15 to 30.
Right. Not 9 to 12 on good behavior.
Yeah.
So anyways, those are the name only reveals. Or I guess in a lot of cases, they're the leg only reveals. Or in Mercer's case, the torso only reveal. I don't know. We saw pieces of all these guys in those leaked photos that we got from Surveillance Port last week. So anyways, nobody was a surprise here. Next news item. And there is today's G.I. Joe 5 from Skybound Publishing. That is rated H for hologram, as you can see in Destro's hand there. That's not a jagged crystal. That's a laser hologram of all the captured Joes. And I have not read it yet, so I can't tell you anything about what goes on. Not that I would do that anyway. We try to give everybody at least 2 weeks before we spoil comics. But it is, again, rated H for hologram. It is available right now, today.
It is a wild ride.
If you're like Phil and you're living in the past, you might be able to get to your comic shop right now and buy this issue of G.I.
Joe. I think my comic shop closed 43 minutes ago.
If you say so, Phil. Don't know why they're closing that early. I mean, we're on Eastern time. You're on Pacific time, so that means it's 10:44 p.m. here. If you're catching us live, if it's the recording, then you're seeing us in January 2038 or whatever the hell is going on in your life at that point. But so, anyways, 10:44 p.m. Eastern time means like it's Tuesday at noon where you're at, Phil. Is that?
That's right. The blaring sunlight I had to block out so I could still be able to, have a picture on the screen.
Right. Yeah, it's just my ring light. But yeah, G.I. Joe 5 is there for you.
It'll be in my box. It's reserved. It'll still be there.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they did with your comics like they did with Ragtime Rob's comics and sent them off to Florida. And then there's next week.
Rule that out.
Real American Hero 315 is on your shelf next week. That is March 26th. Chris Mooneyham back in the saddle doing pencils as we get back to the main story. You can see Cobra Commander there in very thick, Incredible Hulk style chains on the cover.
Is that the Retaliation action figure design?
It's close to it. Looks like the helmet is anyway.
Well, he also had the knee pads.
Yeah, it was an updated battle armor they put him in for that.
Right. He's been knocked around. But that is next week. Next week. I don't remember what this is in reference to, but Doug Dello is cheering for you, Phil.
I think it was more like,
Phil.
come on, Phil, because I didn't go to the comic book store.
I'm trying to be positive here, Phil. I'm trying to keep this light.
I have no ego.
Everybody's like, oh, you're so mean to Phil. No, I'm not nearly as mean to Phil as Phil is to himself.
I'm my own worst enemy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just hop on the train. I got nothing. I ain't driving. Phil's driving.
I believe it was Huey Lewis in the news saying, hey, don't need no credit card to ride this train.
I needed a minute away from Phil after that one, Rob. I hope you understand. What are you looking for? What happened?
He was gone.
Well, he did just fall off. So I assume that he's there on the floor, probably weeping.
Poor Phil.
It's fine.
All right, he's back.
No power of love for Phil from Greg.
That is correct, Greg. That is correct.
Well played.
Greg's an author. He's used to coming up with stuff that's sharp and poignant.
He's a man of
like
letters.
Greg of culture.
Right. Greg Augustin is a patriarch of the ciphered word. But anyways, Real American Hero 315. We'll talk more about it next week and in the weeks after, I'm sure. But that is on March 26. And then things get hairy. As in April 2nd, that starts the silent month in G.I. Joe comics. As Real American Beachhead #1 starts it off on week 1 there. We also get the reprint of Real American Hero 21 from back in the Marvel days, the original silent interlude with the cool Skybound cover.
What number reprint is this?
I don't know, 8, 9. It's the first one with Skybound's logo on it, so it's all different. It's all weird. It's wacky.
Had a few versions with Marvel, a few versions with IDW.
Yeah. Yeah.
A few with Hasbro.
And as Greg notes, a gazillion number 21 reprint variant covers. Yes. Yeah, it's it'll be a fracas on par with Energon Universe #1 in terms of variant covers, I'm sure.
Did you know Skybound actually holds the record for the comic with the most variant covers?
I did not, Phil. Which comic is that?
Walking Dead #1.
Really?
With something like 250 some reprint or alternate covers. It's frightening. Wikipedia's got the number.
Did they have like a bunch of like retailer exclusive type of things, or
probably?
Right. Like Skybound wasn't responsible for commissioning all that work.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all it takes. Like all you have to do is, I think 500 is the minimum for most of them.
I think it's
the smallest package. Yeah, it's it. I remember I got that number from Aaron when he did the Roma Collectibles one back in the IDW days, but I don't for the life I cannot remember it. I think it was 500 copies, and he went as low as he could go.
Yeah, Walking Dead has 253 distinct variations. Walking Dead #1. So
Joe Slepsky said he just interviewed Josh E about the many 21 reprints. Well, you fine, Joe Slepsky. You plug your own damn show then. Oh, see, Greg's on top of that one too. Again, a champion of the ciphered word. Jeff Butler wishing good luck to our good friend Josh Eggebine.
Yeah.
I already wished him good luck.
Yeah, we may need to check on him on April 3rd. I think that's really the time to get a hold of Josh. And just, hey man, you all right?
You didn't get buried under a collapse of.
Yeah. We're having soup today.
You doing okay, buddy? Anyways. Oh. Next news item. Remember, if you want your daily leaked photos, head on over to our friends at the Surveillance Port. That's surveillance-port.com. It's all there in one handy spot. Man's posting something pretty much every day. Lord knows we don't really talk about leaked photos very often, but he does. We only got like 2 hours, 2.5 hours tops in a week. We got no time for leaked photos most of the time. We ain't got no time. But those, you can just read them at your leisure, take it a nice pace there. Just digest it. It's like a nice lunch, a nice leisurely lunch where you don't have to go back to work afterwards.
So relaxing, you may call it leisure.
Leisure. You go ahead over and you drop in on your lady friend or your man friend. I don't care who. Just
we don't judge.
You drop in on that somebody special, and you make things leisurely. That's what the Surveillance Port is. It's like your own personal dip into adult film. That's right.
We're gonna have to drop the register of our voices just a little bit here.
Oh yeah, surveillance-port.com.
Do I hear saxophones? What?
Joel, I'm very sorry.
Oh. Right. Wait, where'd it go? This sexy reading brought to you by Depends. You got some juice loose in your caboose. Put some Depends on those ends. Available in all sizes to accommodate both the small and the plus size gentlemen.
For maximum absorbency.
Next news item. This show's spun horribly out of control.
That's why
that's the end right there. It's brought to you by the G.I. Joe 3D Printing Podcast, presenting Chunky Tank Kitty and his Meowler Tank. They do have a show coming up this Sunday morning. I forgot to put a slide for it in the thing. I don't remember which one it is, but go check them out. It's right there. If you look on our channel page, we've got a link to them down below with the channels that we love the best and we love long time. It's all right there. Sometimes we drop by the G.I. Joe 3D Printing Podcast and have a nice leisurely lunch. Anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cobb salad.
Cobb salad. Going back into the archives for that one, Racktime Rob. Back into the archives. But last day that we're in New Orleans at JoeCon back years ago.
2012.
Yeah, sure. Having lunch with the esteemed Justin Bell and several others. And it's the last meal that we're going to be there together with one another. And so everybody's kind of getting whatever weird stuff is on the menu that they hadn't tried yet. It's New Orleans. It's one of the great food cities in the world.
Get you some crawdads.
Right. So you try stuff.
Right.
You try stuff that you don't necessarily get to have in other parts of the world, or at least not good versions of it in other parts of the world. And we all put our order in, and Justin's is last, and he orders the Cobb salad. And I did the slow turn. What? You getting the Cobb salad? I couldn't talk to him. I was that
the greatest food city in America.
Cobb salad. I mean, it was a good looking Cobb salad. I'm not gonna.
Sure
I'm not going to lie. I'm sure that in the pantheon of Cobb salads, it was right at the top. But it was a Cobb salad. So yeah, we had a good 3 or 4 years of Cobb salad jokes based on that run.
Bringing it back.
I don't remember Homer Simpson going through the Cobb salad on that Eat Through New Orleans clip.
Some po' boys, red beans and rice, jambalaya, gumbo.
Right. Like I'm not a guy who it doesn't look like it, but I enjoy a nice Cobb salad once in a while. I'm on board the Cobb salad train most of the time, but at a celebratory meal in New Orleans, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe Cobb salad. Couldn't handle it. Anyways, that's all we got. See, look at that. It's the end of the news. Real quick, we're going to take a minute and get a word from our wonderful friends and sponsors at Kokomo Toys.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on.
All right, we're going to take a pass on what we got in this week because truthfully, all we did was pre-order shit. Except for Phil. Phil's got one item that we do want him to show off here and what we got in.
We did tease it.
All right, Rob, you can real quick. Let's let Rob get his one geek out moment here.
All right.
Go ahead.
See, and I have to do this because
he's so proud.
Well, Joe Schlepke and I were talking about this the last time he was on. He was talking about the digest run of Adventure Comics.
Joe Schlepke, you mean the guy we refer to as Bald Phil?
Yeah.
Okay.
And since he's in the audience, I'm walking out of the comic book store. All right, with my stuff for the week, and what do I see? But they have digests, and little.
Let me get you in the big window because those books are too small to.
Yeah.
They're 7 pixels tall.
A table of like DC digests from the 80s, and I was like, oh, cool. Those were always great. I had a bunch of them from back in the day and stuff like that. And sure enough, the entire run of Adventure Comics in digest form, 13 issues.
Put them up in front of the camera again, Rob.
Yep. 13 issues. Issue 491 to 503. All there, $2 a piece.
Nice.
So I just went, well, it looks like I'm getting 13 digests today, too.
Right.
Got back in line with the haul.
If you're a comic guy, that is a purchase you have to make.
I was commenting on how I never see these. I'd seen them maybe twice in my life, and there they all were, all at once, $2 a piece.
And I'll get you Joe's reaction there. All exclamation points. He is jealous. I expect him to be breaking into our apartment at some point before Sunday. That's
so
a hell yes.
That one's for you, Joe.
All right. Are you done now? Have you sufficiently geeked out enough?
I got a big book.
I'm not talking about the big book.
Yeah, I know.
It's Green Lantern, Green Arrow. It's the big book. Yeah. Phil, show off your thing.
No,
that sounded wrong. The thing we were talking about before the show. Talk about that for a second.
If for some reason you're new to the hobby, they also did make G.I. Joe digest. So just putting that out there.
I have some of those as well.
But yes, I did go to TFCon. There were some voice actors there. I could get some signature opportunities. So anytime I get to show this off, I show it off. My Shout Factory Complete Series DVD locker set. And I've been adding to this for about 16 years now. So at TFCon, and
for the record, like the Shout Factory DVDs are not the best, right? When Rhino did them a couple of years later, those are the superior versions. But this
No,
set,
shout is the superior. There's a
I'm
second.
sorry, so I got it
Other way
backwards. Shout.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. So going back to
good
it, this is the best presentation of them, even without all the signatures.
Yeah.
But go on.
But I feel as a Footlocker, just plain green was a little boring. So I added to it. Well, other people added to it. And over this weekend, I managed to get Frank Welker's signature just above Peter Cullen's there. Charlie Adler's right there.
The voice of Lowlight.
And on the back, Alan Oppenheimer, old Skeletor himself. Yeah. And
Apparently he was Mainframe. Who
yeah,
knew?
I had to look that up to justify getting him to sign this. Otherwise, I would have had to have him sign something else because, the guy's 92 years old now and he's Skeletor.
Yeah, you don't pass on that.
Yeah. So I was glad I could squeeze him in there because you can see I'm kind of running out of space here.
Torpedo Mike expected Phil to show off a new popcorn bucket, and honestly, I agree with that.
That would be
Remember,
March 28th.
as I reminded Phil that he needs to make sure that he's got a spot for me because I was the voice of Sunbow Snake Eyes.
Yeah, you got this unless I get Brian Cummings or Corey Burton first.
I'll take it.
You
But
should
no,
give
that
him
is
signatures as he had lines.
That's right.
that is Bill Ratner called my performance mature, especially for a 9-year-old. Mature.
That's right.
At some point, somebody's going to hear me say that and invite me to a show.
It's all based on lies.
Michael,
All right, tells you.
I'm a voice of Sunbow Snake Eyes.
Oh, and if you're ever curious, because Frank Welker does so many voices, his real voice is probably closest to Ray Stantz from the Real Ghostbusters.
Yes. Yes, I've heard a couple interviews with him just speaking regularly. And that's
Really? I always thought he sounded more like Fred.
Yeah, you'd think that, but no, it's Ray.
Yeah.
No, it's more like Ray.
All right.
So, Phil, while you're in the big screen there, why don't you go ahead and do some shout outs?
All right, shout out to Diana Davis in the audience for always getting me the hookups in the places that matter. It was nice also hanging out with you.
Could you try again?
Set off my watch. Shut up. I didn't even say the activation code. Whatever.
All right.
Did see her at TFCon. Shout out to Patrick Stewart. He's my other half on the Articulated Points podcast that we do on our own time, that we try to go as deep dives into other toy lines, including G.I. Joe. But it's really our own way of geeking out with the rest of you on the stuff that we hyperfixate on. And,
right. Stuff that's maybe a little off the beaten path.
Yeah. But also, we think you still might enjoy. And we're heavy at work trying to get up the next episode for you before the end of the month. So keep an eye on that. And to everybody who keeps asking that I come back on the show, I really don't know what it is you guys see in me, but thank you.
I discovered back in January that you even have Godso's seal of approval.
Who knew?
Right. Like he wasn't even aware that you had come on and guest hosted for us at the time. It's like, you ought to ask Phil. And I looked back at him and said, we have Phil on about every 4 weeks. What do you yeah. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Thanks for being a part of the experience.
There we are.
So Godso approved. Phil Donnelly.
Hey.
Ragtime Rob, shout it out.
I shall. First off, Phil, thanks for coming on.
Hey.
Hey!
To the
We'll
good
finally
folks,
clap for Phil like we clap for all the guests.
Oh, yes, thank you.
to the good folks at Comic Carnival, the finest pop culture emporium in Indianapolis.
On the north side, at least.
Yeah.
Probably
And,
the south
and
side,
to,
too. It's not good down there.
and to viewers like you, thank you.
I will reiterate Rob's shout out to our live audience. Thank you so much. Before you leave tonight, make sure you do the cool YouTube stuff. Hit those 2 buttons down there. to like and subscribe. If you're really feeling frisky, hit the little bell thing to get all the updates that we send out, which is once a week we do a show. That's pretty much the update. For the folks on Facebook, please do the same thing. Give us a heart, give us a thumbs up, give us a little huggy guy. We do love little huggy guy.
Little huggy guy.
And see, 19JJ missed the notification. What's up? Hey, well, I mean, we got to start over. We're 2 hours in. We got to do it again.
No,
Man, I'm gonna go to the bathroom soon.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I got to work in the morning.
Right. I mean, Phil, your lower 2/3 is off camera, so whatever you need to do. Give a shout out to the folks catching us on replay. We appreciate you too. You count just as much. If you've been displaced by our move from Tuesday to Wednesday nights, hey, I'm sorry. At some point, we'll probably have to move the show again because my work schedule is kind of weird. We just kind of it rotates through the calendar, so there'll be a time when Wednesday is no good anymore, and we'll have to move off of Wednesdays. But for now, Wednesday is the day.
Thursdays at 9. Thursdays at 9.
So that's it. That's it for that one. If you're catching us on audio, we love you guys too. Make sure that at some point you venture over to us here in YouTube land. Be sure to subscribe to the video, to the channel, and like the video. You don't have to sit and watch the whole thing. Just shoot. What I always tell people is if you listen, just some night before you go to bed, turn us on YouTube and then go to bed. Leave the room, go to bed. Just let it play while you're not in the room. That's what I do. I have a channel. I play it on my own personal viewing channel. Sure. I'm part of the show. I don't need to watch the replay.
You don't even have to have the audio on.
Let us haunt you.
Right. Anyways. And of course, to our wonderful friends at Kokomo Toys. We'll sing the theme song real quick. Kokomo Toys. Kokomo Toys. See, Phil's been around enough that he actually knows what to do when we sing the Kokomo Toys theme song.
I pay attention.
He started to do it too. Like I remember the first dozen times he was too embarrassed. But now not so much. Now he's just embarrassing.
I mean, I'm my true self. Do not kill the part of you that is cringe. Kill the part of you that cringes.
Right. Look, that's words to live by right there. And of course, to our friend Vagon, as he likes to say, welcome back to the fold, by the way. Again, stay safe, and if you can't, be careful. More words to live by. That's it for us this week on What's on Joe Mind. We will be back next Wednesday at 9. I'm gonna screw that up at some point. I promise you. But until that happens, next Wednesday at 9 for another episode of What's on Joe Mind. Have a great rest of the week. And yo, Joe. Nobody's going to do the Weber thing still?
No.
That's Weber's thing.
That's Weber's thing.
Fair enough. Night, everybody.